This is a new channel, Grab the Popcorn. Today I'm going to be doing a little introductory video, and I thought the perfect way to do that is to talk about my 30 favourite films of all time, because this is going to be a channel all about movies and I'm a movie buff. These are my favourite 30 films of all time. So these are not the films maybe that are the best, but the films I've enjoyed the most over time. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you comment on the video, tell me some of your favourite films of all time. I'm going to kick it off. Coming in at number 30 is quite a recent one. It's The Wolf of Wall Street. This is a Martin Scorsese film. Martin Scorsese is one of my favourite directors, and Leonardo DiCaprio, one of my favourite actors, of course. So this film really put together those two and their best work and their best efforts. I thought this film was just a brilliant portrayal of the character of Jordan Belfort, which is sort of this eccentric, horrible, slightly villainous man, but he was portrayed in a comedic way, and it was really interesting to portray him like that. And I thought the dialogue's great, it's funny, it's original, it's a really brilliant film. It's the best film of 2013 hands down, and it's one of my favourite films of all time. Okay, coming in at 29 is a really funny film. It's a film that I've loved for a long time. It always makes me laugh. It's always got this brilliant comedic value. It's Shaun of the Dead from 2004. It's an Edgar Wright movie, a movie that just takes the horror genre and just spoofs it. It keeps that aspect of horror, and it's so fantastically done. It's so amazing. I mean, the visuals are good, the dialogue's hilarious, the editing is even brilliant, and the performances and the characters, they're just so fun. For me, it's an 8.4. My number 28 is Anchorman: The Legend of Ron Burgundy. This is a film that a lot of people think maybe shouldn't even be on the list. It's one of my favourite comedy films. I laughed at this film from start to finish. It's cheesy and it's cringy, but it's like, it just draws you in. It's just a hilarious, side-splitting, satirical, brilliant comedy. And I really love it, and I would definitely give it a watch, and I'll give that an 8.2. My number 27 is my first animated film on the list. It's 2008's WALL-E. I love Pixar so much, and I think there's 4 films on this list that are Pixar, maybe 3. What can I say? It's the perfect animated film. It's heartfelt, it makes you cry, it makes you laugh, it's got amazing visuals, it's truly stunning. It's got heartfelt characters. I think it's a really brilliant film. I'm not really going to talk about this one that much, because just watch it, it'll explain itself. I give it an 8.7. My number 26 is a film that is part of a trilogy, and none of the other films are in the list from that trilogy, because this is my favourite film. It's the second Lord of the Rings film, The Two Towers. It's got such an atmosphere to it. I think it's like such an epic film. It's really brilliant. It's brilliantly made, brilliantly acted, brilliantly written, and I feel like when you're watching it, you just feel like you're part of it. You feel like you're part of that atmosphere. The reason it's my favourite Lord of the Rings film is because the first one sort of has this really long start. It gets really long to get into the film, and the last one takes a really long time to end. So I feel like this film is definitely the best because of that reason, and it portrays the atmosphere of the Lord of the Rings books perfectly, and 8.7, solid. Number 25 is Sin City. I love graphic novels just as much as I love movies, and I've read the Sin City graphic novel, and the film is literally the graphic novel. It literally portrays it exactly right. It's got fantastic performances, but I think the main thing about this film is the visuals of it just takes you in, and you don't want to stop watching it really, because you want to keep looking, and it's this film noir. It's got a brilliant Bruce Willis and a brilliant Jessica Alba, but most of all, Mickey Rourke is just fantastic in this film. So yeah, that's another film that you should definitely watch. 8.6. 24 is another film that you think maybe shouldn't be on the list. It's Rushmore. Rushmore is a Wes Anderson film, and it's actually the only Wes Anderson film on the list. Because I do love Wes Anderson, but This is the only film that would really make it onto my favourite films of all time. And I think in all time, Rushmore is perfect for me. And I think the reason I loved Rushmore so much is because Max Fisher, I wanted to be him the whole time. I wanted to be Max Fisher the whole time I was watching the film. He's so eccentric, he's so interesting. He's like the king of this high school, and it's amazing. It's Bill Murray, one of Bill Murray's best. Jason Schwartzman and Wes Anderson, when they get together, when they make a film, it's funny, it's dramatic, it's brilliant, and even though a bit weird, the film always pulls out of the bag for me. I would give it an 8.3. My number 23 is quite a big film, and it's the first Quentin Tarantino film on the list. Quentin Tarantino, I just have to say, is my favourite director of all time. He's just made some really cool films, and my number 23 is Reservoir Dogs. Quentin Tarantino, this was his directorial debut, and it's got Harvey Keitel in it, who is one of my favourite actors of all time, and he's the main character, and he plays this great character because he plays this sort of leader character, and he's just brilliant in it, and it's got this like sort of comedic value to it, as well as all Quentin Tarantino films have. But I think the thing I love the most about this film is Steve Buscemi, because his character, Mr. Pink, it's not a good character. It's not a character that you like, not a character that you root for. He's actually quite an annoying character, but he portrays that so well. It's perfect for me. It's a perfect portrayal of that sort of annoying, like, paranoid character, and Steve Buscemi is perfect. And Reservoir Dogs, 8.6, hands down. My number 22 is a film that a lot of people probably won't have heard of. It's directed by IT Crowd star Richard Ayoade. I do love the IT Crowd, by the way. It's called Submarine. I watched this film about a year ago, and I loved it ever since. It's the perfect portrayal of British secondary schools. It's about a boy, a 15-year-old boy named Oliver Tate, who has mainly two objectives, and one is to lose his virginity before his next birthday, before he turns 16, and the second is to, like, maintain his mum and dad's love life, which is slowly falling apart. And it's about how it all changes when, one, he meets a girl named Jordana Bevan, who is this weird sort of pyromaniac girl, but he just falls in love with her instantly. And then two is this guy comes in who is a mystic, and it's his mum's ex-boyfriend, his mum's first love, and she just like is pulled back into his world. And it's a bit of a weird film. It's a bit sort of Wes Anderson style, but it's so brilliantly done, and it's got Ben Stiller producing and Richard Ayoade directing, and it's fantastic. I love Richard Ayoade as a director, and it was his first film, and he is so brilliant. My number 21 is a fantastic film. It's another Edgar Wright. It's his first US film, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. The thing about this film is I can never get enough of it. I have watched it countless times. I love the movie because it's teen comedy, and I love teen comedies, and I'm a teenager myself, so I can't get enough of it. And it's action, it's funny, it's brilliant, it's the editing. The thing I love about Edgar Wright's movie is he has this like way that makes editing comedic, and it's awesome, and it has some brilliant characters in this film, so definitely watch it. I'm going to give this one an 8.4. My number 20 is my second animated film, and also my number 19 is an animated film, but I'm going to talk about number 20 first. Another Pixar film, of course, Finding Nemo. The thing I love about this film is it's the visuals and the sea, and it's the perfect portrayal of the ocean, and it's so touching. It sort of gives off this like magical feeling about that all animations give off, really. I truly love the film. It's one to watch, and if you love animated films, this is probably one of the best. I've been watching it since I was a toddler, really, and I really love the film. It's really good. It's really good, and it's 8.7. Alright, so number 19 is Up. Up is another animated film, another Pixar film. The most touching Pixar film is Up. It's the one that makes you cry the most. The opening scene is so brilliantly done. It's got no actual dialogue in it, and I never thought a scene without dialogue would make me cry so much. I cried so much watching this film, especially the opening scene. The whole opening sequence is him and his wife, and they have this dream, and at the end, spoilers, she dies. It's really good. It's a really good film. Another 8.7. Number 18 is a David Fincher film. So, if you don't know who David Fincher is, he directed some of my favourite movies, Fight Club, Seven, but this isn't either of those, this is The Social Network. It's the true story of how Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook when he was in Harvard, and it's a really good film, and it's got the perfect Mark Zuckerberg, Jesse Eisenberg in it, and it's just everyone in the film. You don't really root for anyone in the film. It's sort of like everyone in the film has their bad traits, and you don't really want to root for anyone, and that's what I love about the film, because it's not like your typical, like you've got a protagonist and you're rooting for him the whole time. It's just a true story, and it's real life, and it's really good, and the Trent Reznor score is so fantastic. I would definitely watch this. Number 17 is another David Fincher film. I mentioned it just now. It's Seven. It's just so compelling. It's a detective drama. It's so well done, so well written. Andrew Kevin Walker, he also wrote Sleepy Hollow, the Tim Burton film, which I actually really like. David Fincher, Andrew Kevin Walker, put together, they make a really brilliant film called Seven. Definitely watch it. 8.6. Social Network is 8.6 as well, by the way. Number 16, another film that you think, should this really be on here? Kick-Ass. It's awesome. It's what I want from a superhero movie, really. Violence. What every superhero film lacks is mindless violence, and Kick-Ass, it's just brilliant mindless violence. It's funny, it's dramatic, it's action-packed, it's got this brilliant protagonist, Kick-Ass, and he's played by Aaron Taylor-Johnson, who's a great actor, and he's like this sort of loser at high school, and all he wants is to be a superhero. All he reads is superhero comics. He decides, you know what, I'm just going to become one. He finds out that there are actual superheroes and actual supervillains in the world, and Nicolas Cage and Chloe Grace Moretz play this superhero team who are a father-daughter team called Big Daddy and Hit Girl, and they're just really good characters, and as well as the character of the supervillain played by Mark Strong, who is just fantastic as the role, and he's sort of a mobster. He's a real mobster, and Mark Strong just plays that fantastically, and I love Mark Strong as well. And yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. Okay, number 15. I'm gonna end on this one because the list is 30 films long, so I'm gonna make another video next week with my 14 through 1 list, and then that'll be my 30 favourite films of all time. But I'm gonna talk number 15, which is another Edgar Wright film. It's Hot Fuzz. I can't explain how much I love this film. It's action, it's comedy, it's drama. It's fantastic. It's got Simon Pegg and Nick Frost in, the ultimate British comedy team. It's about like this action London cop who's like a real action man, and he gets transferred to this like small village called Sanford, which is basically like a Midsummer Murders type village, and it turns out that it's actually a really violent village full of violent, evil people who are trying to kill people. And it's basically a bit of a Midsummer Murders ripoff, but then it turns into a massive action film in the last few scenes. And it's got Timothy Dalton in, who was James Bond, and it's well worth watching. It's so funny, it's so action-packed, it's so well done. It's 8.6 for me. And that's my 30 through 15 list. I hope you enjoyed it. I would like you to like and comment and subscribe, because there's going to be a lot more of this channel. I just love talking about movies, and this is the perfect way to do it. Also, I'm going to be making other movie videos, so top 10s, talking about different types of movies. It's just going to be really fun. I might even have guests on sometimes. So yeah, just like, comment and subscribe if you want to see more of this.